My name is Marina Anderson. I am 17 years old. I'm just graduated high school from Craig High School on Prince of Wales Island, and I am Shinga and Haida. My research focus for Rawhide 2 was botany, and the project that I did was Claytonia species divergence between Claytonia scamaniana, Claytonia sarmentosa, and Claytonia arctica sensupersil. Claytonia is like a small flower that's found in the alpine of Alaska, and it's found in Russia also and other parts of the United States, but it's just a small little pink flower, sometimes white, found in the alpine of Alaska, and it's pretty. I studied how to tell the three of the species in the Rhizomatosae core section of the Portulaceae family, how to tell them apart morphologically. So you can look at the flowers when you're out hiking and be able to say, oh, this is this plant, this is this plant. Basically just helped with identification for identity and taxonomy. My Rawhide 1 experience, my Rawhide 2 experiences are different because this year with Rawhide 2, our classes were way more packed. We had 4 hours of lecture in the morning, and then we had to go up to upper campus and we had 4 hours of lab in the afternoon. And our short days were 2 hours of lab in the afternoon and then 2 hours of our PE classes. And so it was pretty stressful sometimes, getting out of one class late and then having 40 minutes to eat lunch and if you have short little legs like me, walk to class or run. Rawhide 1 was a little bit different than Rawhide 2 because you would get out of one class and you would have maybe an hour and a half, or sometimes some people had 2 hours in between one class and the next class. And then some people in Rawhide 1 get to wake up and their early class is 8:15 and their late class is 9:40, where my everyday class starts at 8. Especially the experience differences between traditional Rawhide and Rawhide 2 were a little bit different because in traditional Rawhide you kind of get to know a bigger bulk of the students, and with Rawhide 2 we're with the same 8 students and you get to know some of the other students but not so much until Camp Bingle comes along, and then everybody opens up and you get to know a little bit too much about everybody again. I expected to cry every single day of Rawhide 2 because I never thought I liked math, I never thought I liked science, and I never thought I liked studying stuff that I was really unfamiliar with. But as the weeks went on and stuff and I started to get more into it, I could really understand why people have this as their job, especially when I went out in the field the other day with Dave Murray and Monty Garut and I got to actually find the plant specimens that we were looking for. So I got to pull it all together. I had other opportunities to do other summer programs in Washington, D.C., but I can do those any summer that I am enrolled into college. Rawhide 2, I knew I was only going to have this one experience, and I wanted to try something different. I know I need science as my prereqs, and to be honest, I wanted to spend my summer with Denise Fortes. Now that I've had Rawhide for 2 summers, it's hard to imagine a summer without it. Well, definitely my favorite thing in the academic area was when I did go in the field. That one day was my favorite day of both years of Rawhide combined. It was the most amazing experience to be researching this project, and it's almost too abstract to think that the flower even exists because you think of it as this amazing thing. I remember my first time thinking that I actually think like a scientist was when I was eating spaghetti at lunch, and I hate how the noodles are super long, and I was wishing that PCR would come along and chop up my noodles and make more short product than long product. And then the same day I was walking on the sidewalk and I saw the print in the sidewalk, and I was imagining them as chromosomes, so I thought that was kind of cool. I'm very interested in linguistics. She was asking if I'm interested, if I want to take a scientific approach to linguistics and basically study how linguistics has changed and stuff. And for me, that's not the exact approach that I want to take. I'd rather take, for me, I want to take an approach to study the language and learn the language, and that's really time consuming. Well, looked into linguistics a little bit in like a scientific way. Like I've taken summer classes at UAS and like we looked at them like a scientific way like this, and I think it's like an awesome thing, and I would really like advocate for a lot of people to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't want to say it's not where my heart is, but at the same time, like my heart is at home, and I want to be in the school like teaching, and I just don't. I feel like even if I took like if I started and I took 2 years away from it, then that's like 2 years too long. I'm always open to everything. That's like a part of this Raw High too.
Yeah.
Like I was open to coming here and like learning new stuff, and I don't think there's any such thing as like a challenge that's too big. You just have to make yourself a little bit bigger, especially if you're short. You have to be used to like standing on your tippy toes. Of course, Camp Bingle is always fun. Like the big ones like rafting and Camp Bingle are really fun. Of course, rafting. I think rafting is always one of like everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
And that was cool. It was like you see this like huge wave coming at you and it can kill you, but you just kill it first with your paddle. I thought it was pretty cool. I always like to hike after I do it, not during or like right after.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all of Raw High. Like you're doing the homework and you hate every like minute of doing the homework, and then afterwards, you're like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
There's no problem. They should tell us how to defend ourselves in front of a moose.
Did you run into a moose?
Well, no. I saw a moose on our drive up to the hike, and we were at the summit, and there's like it started thunder and lightning like so close, and like I was getting scared. Like it was so close, and I thought I was gonna get fried. So I started running by myself because everybody was going really slow. Like, oh, it's gonna be okay. And then I was like starting to think like, man, what if a moose comes? I didn't know what to do. I was trying to think of where you kick it or something, and then I was like, well, maybe like I could climb a tree, but I didn't know if moose can climb trees. Bears climb trees. And then
bears can climb trees.
What do you do? And then I remembered that my friend told me you stand behind a tree or a pole, and it can't get you behind that. So, but then you guys have twigs up here. You don't even have real trees.
Yeah.
I'd rather run into like a polar bear, grizzly bear, and a black bear, all sows with their cubs, than a moose. Our staff was like amazing. Like our Raw High 2 instructors, they definitely knew what they were talking about. You could tell that like they think scientifically like everywhere they go, and they put in a lot of effort. They were only required to come in 2 days a week for study hall for us, but they started coming in every single day, and they would reserve a room in the library with computers for us every single day for study hall, and if not both of them could make it, at least one of them would make it.
Yeah.
And they like made sure to help us all like get through, and all Raw High 2 passed. They did like really good explaining everything in class, and if you didn't understand one way, they'd explain it to you another way. Staff was definitely helpful with everything. Like a lot of kids had actually experienced like some friend and like families like passing away during Raw High 2, and like 2 of the girls like even went home for just like 1 weekend and came back, and like the staff was like so helpful with everybody getting caught up and just like emotionally keeping everybody here. Like, Raw High and Raw High 2 definitely gave me like the confidence and like a big like foundation for like starting college. Like I know my way like all the way around UAF, and I know like a lot of the people here and even like the faculty and stuff, and so I'm excited for college to see what it has. Like people say if you can do Raw High, then you can do college, and they say if you like can do Raw High like and pass with flying colors, then you can do college like no problem. I was of course like scared of going to Raw High, more of the academic struggles, but like the social aspect of it is like really good, and it's like always weird like the first like 2 days meeting new people, but you're always gonna you're gonna live with them for 6 weeks, so you might as well just start to get to know them. For like people who like don't like travel a lot and don't meet a lot of new people a lot of times, like I would advise for them to come here before college even more, because if you plan on going to college, like that's even a little bit different. Like in Raw High, you're kind of forced to meet these people, and in college you're not. So if you don't get used to like breaking out of your comfort zone and like meeting people, then when you get to college you're not going to do it at all. I recommend Raw High to my friends all the time. Like everybody, I'm like, do Raw High, and like I even like put up even more posters than like Denise sent. Like, I think the icebreaker game is really good to start getting to know the students. You can always tell who's shy in the beginning, especially like when we do like ones that we have to like run across, and like if you don't make it to a chair, like you have to stand up and say your name and stuff. I think what really like helps us get to know each other is when we start to do different like store runs and movie runs. That's when you learn the most about people, is when you're in a van for like 2 hours, like driving to rafting or driving to like Camp Bingle. And my favorite is like we sit, it sounds kind of creepy, we'll sit in the back and like you just see people all dancing and stuff, and like, it's like, wow, you can tell a lot about people just from a van ride. Okay, something I would do differently as a Rawhide student is, one, not pack as much stuff to Rawhide. I hate lugging it around airports, and then you buy stuff when you're here, and it's like, oh my god. One thing like I did last year, but like a lot of students didn't, is like we do have like 2 hours almost like between some classes, and like when I was in my classes, like I'd start my day at 8 in the morning, and I would just like, if I didn't have a class, I would just go to the library and study or do homework. That way I didn't have to like worry about it at night, and after dinner it was just like time to relax until like study hall, and then you can not fall asleep during study hall with your kids from the workbook. For Rawhide 2, I don't think I would do anything different because I passed pretty like well this year, but a piece of advice I'd give to people is, if you don't understand something with like the DNA replication or anything, like YouTube it. Like I watched 3 hours of YouTube and I got a 95 on my final. Our generation were like so lucky, like my mentor was gone and like I couldn't get in to get like the book that I needed and stuff, and it's like, oh, why don't I just go to like, you know, like the online portal and just like Google it, and like it was there. It's like online articles, and it's like, oh, hello 21st century, I love you. The dorm stuff was awesome. Like I love hanging out with the TCs. Is cool. It's always like a little bit like weird at first, but like as a returning Rawhide student, like I already kind of knew them, like some of them. So I was like comfortable like coming, and I saw January and like put a big smile on my face. And I saw Sean and put a bigger smile on my face, and I saw Sharon, and like I saw Matt, and I saw Kathy. But they're right, after Rawhide, like the people that you like become close with, they become your family. And so like the TCs all take care of you. Like Marcia took me to the clinic when I needed to go to the clinic and stuff, and they were like asking if she was my mom. It was cute. I'm interested in applying to school, like a lot of places, but like I'm coming to University of Alaska Fairbanks, at least for my first year, hopefully for a little bit more. My favorite school is the University of Montana, but like it doesn't have what I really need there, and the only thing I really like about it, to be honest, is like its music program. And I'm not going into music, so I guess I would just be jealous of all the students there. UAF feels like the most like a real college to me, like in Alaska, and even like, I know it's cold, but like get a coat, people. I like UAF. It's got good trails everywhere. It's got a good like bus and shuttle system. I want to do an exchange like overseas. I want to go to New Zealand and study the Maori people. I think it'll help me appreciate where I live a little bit more too. I mean, I already appreciate it a lot, but just like being gone, like even being at Rawhide, being gone, it makes me appreciate like a half pint of fish so much.
Yeah.
Like I had that sitting in my room, and the guys like waited for like the 3rd week to roll around so I could finally open it and not feel bad. I'm excited that I graduated with a 4.0 in citizenship, and what's the other kind of honors? The other ones.
Yeah.
Last year, I had like a 13.1 reading score, and now it's 16.4, and that's crazy for a dyslexic. It's weird thinking this is like my last year as a Rawhide student. You feel like it's always gonna like be there. I don't know. I just like encourage everybody to do it. I mean, if you can't do it, like find a way. Like if you have stuff, plan them other times. The Rawhide experience is like one of the best experiences that I've had in my summers.